Trump's tariffs on China will be explained, and also this nondescript trip that was taken on May 3rd, a U.S. trade delegation in China for talks on those tariffs, which are somehow related to China getting a hold of some of our secrets by nefarious means. So they're saying they're there to talk to China. I found the pictures were more telling than the words in the article. So let's just look at these for a moment. Here we are. Clearly this is a smart young man, and he is hiding behind the American flag. And look who was involved in those trade talks with China. The U.S. Treasury Secretary Stephen Mnuchin. Well, there we are. Let's see if we can see any Chinese people in that picture, because I do not from far away. So we're going to make it big. Here we are. Young man, go over there. And voila, they're in the meeting. Yeah, I was speechless too. Anyways, and even look in the background. That little huddle back there. I mean, where are the Chinese people? We're having tariff talks with China. So it looks like maybe the Pentagon Report on Tel Avivian espionage that came out in 1996. Links at the bottom. An edition of the Washington Report on Middle East affairs is making the rounds on the internet. Apparently, when two reports from the Department of Defense and one from the GAO, the General Accounting Office, highlighted Israel's espionage activities against the United States and Israeli thefts of U.S. military technology secrets, and confirmed that Israel has illegally retransferred U.S. technology from the largely U.S.-funded Lavi fighter program to China. The first round of revelations began with a report in the February issue of Moment, a Jewish monthly published in Washington, D.C. The magazine described a Defense Investigative Service, DIS, warning to U.S. defense contractors about espionage by U.S. allies. One of the counterintelligence profiles provided with the memo detailed Israeli, quote, espionage intentions and capabilities, end quote, aimed at the United States. The memo was sent to defense contractors last October by the Syracuse, New York-based agency responsible for issuing security clearances to Department of Defense employees and defense contractors.
Hello. The system will start being built in 17 and hopefully by...
So it's not till 17?
Yes,
okay.
sir.
What's the backlog now? You have 388,000 new background investigations pending. Is that right, Ms. Colbert? And I have 117 periodic reinvestigations backlogged. 500,000?
We are,
And the IT system is going to be in place in 17? Well,
Congressman,
it's a backlog. I mean, that's what staff is giving me. I just, I'm
you know,
only told.
the figures I have on the backlog, we think about the backlog in terms of the timeliness for doing those investigations.
It's
So,
a
yes.
500,000 backlogs right now. We don't have a system in place. I really even don't know where to start. If I was doing something, I'd probably look at putting some there are plenty of people that can conduct these investigations. There are companies that do that. Can you contract with some of those folks? Can we get this in bite size? You can only eat an elephant a bite at a time, I'm told.
So, Congressman, we have systems that support background investigations today. We have made strides over the last month in making those more secure, and then we're going to rebuild them.
They're building you this system, and then you're going to run it?
No, DOD will operate the new systems. We are currently running the existing systems.
And who's going to conduct the investigations?
The investigations will be...
By this new agency?
Will be conducted by the National Background Investigation Bureau.
Folks, hang on to your shorts on this one. But by the time you get the IT in place and the money you're going to spend, and then by the time you get OPM up and running, I mean, you can't even get the personnel to do the manual processing of the retirement. I think we're headed for another disaster. God bless you, but I'm telling you, you got to take this a bite at a time. You need to get contracts out. You need to get it out of OPM. Building this system, it is designed to fail. We'll be back here in the next Congress in 17. I guarantee you, and put that in the record, it's a new word, that this will continue to be a disaster, the way it sounds like you're putting it together.
Shortly after the Moment story appeared, Anti-Defamation League, the ADL Executive Director, Abraham Foxman, protested that the profile, quote, impugns American Jews and borders on anti-Semitism because of its reference to the potential security threat posed by individuals having strong ethnic ties to Israel, a euphemism for American Jews. One could also fire back that they are being anti-American as American citizens. Moving right along, the Pentagon responded to Foxman by canceling the memo and promising not to issue a similar one in the future. In a letter to Foxman, Assistant Secretary of Defense for Military Intelligence, one Emmett Page Jr., wrote that, quote, the content of the DIS counterintelligence profile does not reflect the official position of the Department of Defense. He added that we have instructed appropriate personnel that similar documents will not be produced in the future. That brings to mind the good senator, the good loyal Senator Chuck Hagel.
The political reality is that you intimidate a lot, not you, but the Jewish lobby intimidates a lot of people up there. And again, I've always argued against some of the dumb things they do because I don't think it's in the interest of Israel. I just don't think it's smart for Israel. Now, everyone has a right to lobby, that's as it should be. And come see your senator and congressman. If you can get the guy to sign your letter, great, wonderful. But as I reminded somebody not too long ago, in fact, it was a group I was speaking to in New York, and we got into a kind of an interesting give and take on Iran. And a couple of these guys said, well, we should just attack Iran. I said, well, it's an interesting thought. We're doing so well in Iraq. Right. And I said, it would really help Israel. And I said, so this guy kept pushing and pushing. And he alluded to the fact that, well, maybe I wasn't supporting Israel enough or something. And I don't know how we get. And I just said, well, let me clear something up here if there's any doubt in your mind. I said, I'm a United States senator. I'm not an Israeli senator. I'm a United States senator. I support Israel. But my first interest, because I take an oath of office to the Constitution of the United States, not to a president, not to a party, not to Israel.
And he quit, just outright quit, with a Band-Aid on his face. Also, within days after the DIS warning became public, the General Accounting Office, the investigative arm of Congress, released a declassified report which also included numerous revelations about espionage against the United States by its allies. The report, Defense Industrial Security, weaknesses in U.S. security arrangements with foreign-owned defense contractors. Side note, makes me think of Benghazi, makes me think of ISIS, makes me think of all these contractors, whether they be extreme or moderate. 22nd Washington Times conducts the most aggressive espionage operation against the United States of any U.S. ally, end quote. And to back up this rather bold statement, one would say, is the list of espionage operations described in the report included the following. Number 1, an espionage operation run by the intelligence organization responsible for collecting scientific and technologic information for Israel, paid a U.S. government employee to obtain U.S. classified military intelligence documents. This is a reference to the 1985 arrest of Jonathan Pollard, who is at this very moment living it up. Oh yeah, over in Israel, since his recent release from prison. Number 2, quote, several citizens of Israel were caught in the United States stealing sensitive technology used in manufacturing artillery gun tubes. Agents of Israel allegedly stole design plans for a classified reconnaissance system from a U.S. company and gave them to a defense contractor from Israel. A company from Israel is suspected of surreptitiously monitoring a Department of our Defense telecommunications system to obtain classified information for Israeli intelligence. Aren't we supposed to be partners? Best friends? Having each other's back? Seems like Israel is the monkey on America's back. Number 5, quote, citizens of Israel were investigated for allegations of passing advanced aerospace design technology to unauthorized scientists and researchers. Number 6, quote, Israel is suspected of targeting U.S. avionics, missile telemetry, and testing data and aircraft communication systems for intelligence operations. Reminds me of MH370, 9/11s. 7, quote,
it has been determined that Israel targeted specialized software that is used to store data in friendly aircraft warning systems. Number 8, quote, Israel has targeted information on advanced materials and coatings for correction. An Israeli government agency allegedly obtained information regarding a chemical finish used on missile re-entry vehicles from a U.S. person.
What is the response from the land of the free and the home of the brave? Crickets over there in the House and the Senate regarding anything to do with the Tel Avivians. Also, the release of this report from the GAO makes it clear that Congress is aware. They are aware of the extent of Israeli espionage in these here United States. The third revelation of Israel's violation of its privileged security relationship with the United States came from the Office of Naval Intelligence, the ONI. It's a 36-page report, and it's called Worldwide Challenges to Naval Strike Warfare. Well, that contained the first unclassified confirmation by the U.S. government that Israel has retransferred sensitive U.S. military technology to China. One CIA veteran who has served in Tel Aviv told the Washington Report on Middle East Affairs that, quote, the CIA has seen less and less return from its investment with Israeli intelligence of late, end quote. The agent said that, quote, the failure of their entire intelligence apparatus to anticipate the Rabin shooting in many people's minds was probably one of the biggest reasons for us to downgrade our ties with the Israelis, end quote. This report is coming from the Pentagon and the GAO. So, if all this is based on fact, wouldn't one also think about where they stand and if they had been redacted out of the 9/11 report or those 28 pages? Another U.S. government official from the Defense Investigative Service was quoted in the Saudi Gazette. Notice not in one of our newspapers, but in the Saudi Gazette, as saying that this frank DIS counterintelligence profile of Israel resulted from the fact that the Pentagon has gone kind of sour on Israel as of late because of Israel's illegal sale of the Lavi fighter to China and dozens of other spy cases within the U.S. defense industry.
Gee, Ethel, thanks. It's times like this when you know what friends are for. If I'd known this is what friends are for, I'd have signed up as an enemy.